Hi, everybody. I'm Kate, and this is Ashley Wyatt.
Hi, everybody.
This is the American Ice Theater Coaches and Adult Workshop Series that we are starting the first one ever today, and we're hoping that it continues every summer. That would be the goal, and we want it to be an affordable and approachable way for coaches and adults to come into sort of the idea of movement and body connection and all of the things that we support in contemporary skating and American Ice Theater. I left my screen share up if you were bored and looking hopefully at some of the programming we have. We would love to continue to connect with you after this workshop in any way possible. I'm gonna stop my screen share.
Cool.
I do ask if you're comfortable, guys, to leave your video on. That would be great. If not, we understand it is an entrance into some of this stuff. But I would love it if you had your videos on so we can kind of see your faces and see you moving and connect with us that way. That would be great. And then Ashley is a master rated choreographer. She's in Denver, Colorado, and she is also certified in yoga. And she's going to be taking us through some flows today. And take it away, Ashley. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Kate. Welcome, everybody. I'm not sure if I've met you at some point in time, and I don't remember. I'm sorry. Some of you guys look kind of familiar. Yeah, I'm in Denver, Colorado. I'm also an AIT graduate, like going on 6 years ago, I think. So I know how empowering this curriculum can be. And it can also take you a little bit out of your comfort zone, which is what we want, because that's how growth happens. Along with being all of the things Kate said, I'm also the current chair of the choreography committee for PSA, which Kate and Garrett are both master rated choreographers as well. So if you guys are ever interested in taking that route with your coaching, talk to us. Let us know, reach out. Make sure you guys have my information, but we're always so willing to talk about it because it's such a growing, it's just an amazing growth experience. So today we're going to be focused a little bit more on yoga than some of my other coursework, but we're going to apply that to the chakra system, the limbic system, and how you can offer this to your athletes with a dynamic yogic flow that is going to align and balance them emotionally. We're going to go through a spin flow that takes yogic poses, like typical asana poses, but applies to difficult variations in spins. So if you guys are working in the IJS system at all, this is a great tool to use to help the kids have a little bit of fun, but also apply some balance and grounding as well. And then through a static flow. So things that are heart opening, things that you would maybe use afterwards. So is anybody certified in yoga or teaching off ice like this at all? Okay, I got one. Cool. Melanie, yay. So the deeper part of my work has been to further define the connection between movement, the chakra system, and then the limbic system. And limbic system is the emotional center of the body. It's part of the autonomic nervous system. So that's for a whole nother day. So don't even worry too much about that. But essentially, we're working on getting our dopamine and our serotonin levels up. So we're happy people. So you guys remember that part from Legally Blonde where happy people don't kill you. That's where we're at. People that exercise are happy. So as I go into kind of this, I do a free movement, which we're going to do here in a second just to get us loosened up a little bit. I'm going to ask you to release all judgment of yourself and what you have been told and the last 5 generations of your family have been told is right or wrong. We have an ancient right to use our bodies for a form of celebration, a form of mourning, a form of acting out in service. And it's in modern times, only within the last 100 years, that we have been told that singing out and using our voices, which is our 4th chakra, like that's wrong. And we've been told in the last 70 years that our movement is wrong. There's no wrong movement. The only wrong movement is no movement. So what I would like you guys to do, and if my music cracks a little bit, that's okay. I'm going to ask everybody to kind of shed that skin of judgment and stand up. And I'm going to put on a piece by one of my favorite artists for this kind of free movement called, her name is Isla Nerio. And you are just going to move around your rooms, move around your space in whatever form you feel called to move. Hopefully this plays. Let's see. Can everybody hear music? Yeah? Great. So whatever free-form movement you feel is fantastic.
Riverside, Oliveri, underwater rushing, tightrope walker.
Yeah.
Is the stop coming soon? I gotta go, gotta tiptoe, mudslide, tightrope.
Change up your tempo.
Timid as a raindrop, bold as the iceberg, broken as a thorn of the blackberry.
Use your body levels.
Goose down, comfort, black bear, hideaway, going out for winter, tightrope walker. Undertone overcast, in breath outside, going on a limb, tearing out the bandage. Uncover fearlessness when lightning strikes, it's met in the middle. As a bone bent riddle be met with a riddle be found in breath outside.
Wake your body up on the Saturday.
Shade, pine cone, riverside, elderberry, underwater rushing, tightrope walker. Stop coming soon.
Notice if you're off balance.
Tiptoe, mudslide, tightrope walker. Timid as a raindrop, bold as the iceberg, broken as a thorn of the blackberry crushing. Goose down, comfort, black bear, hideaway, going out for winter, tightrope walker. Undertone overcast, in breath outside, going on a limb, tearing off the bandage. Uncover fearlessness when lightning strikes, it's met in the middle. As a bone bent riddle be met with a riddle be found in breath outside.
Take notice of what you feel right now. Does this bring up anything inside of you?
Ricochet, pine cone, cavern wide, honeyberry, waterbend keeper, tightrope walker, elderwise, time stone, buys a gaze, east side, telling to the cradle, tightrope walker, told as a footprint, burned as a frightening, sudden as a rush of the ribbon whistler, wind sweep set down, shadow side, light away, fool-eyed leader of the tightrope walker.
Let everything go now.
Tightrope walker.
Get the rhythm here and just go.
Tightrope walker. Shake tight, outside at the belly of the water. Shake tightrope walker. Tearing up the bandage. Tightrope walker.
Start to bring it back into a grounding movement. Take a deep inhalation through your nose. Let it go out through your mouth. Yeah. Cool. You guys want to unmute yourself. What I would like to know, if you have a pen and paper handy, I'd love it if you have any notes about how that just felt to jot them down. Thinking about getting your body moving in that free-form way, you're activating all of the energy systems throughout your body. And you're grounding through some of your movements, and you're working up your whole chakra system to have a free, open mind. So Did anybody have any emotions come up as they were moving? Yeah? What you got, Alyssa?
I definitely felt judged at first and awkward, and yeah, I've just always felt like people are judging me when I like move in different ways.
Yeah, that's okay. And that's the way I think we all feel when we start out with this kind of work. And it's so much fun to shed that. It's like just taking off layers of muck that doesn't belong to you. And it's meditative. So the work that I do, I call movement as medicine. And this is what I call a moving mantra or a moving meditation. And as long as you're coming into yourself and becoming very self-aware, this is also a form of yoga and yogic movement. Anybody else have anything they want to share about that movement at all? It's okay if you don't, but if you do have something that comes up, just jot it down and go back to that, take note. So what I want to work on right now is a dynamic flow of yoga. We're going to be going through, I have notes. If I look down, I'm sorry. So we're going to be looking at alignment and how that corresponds with figure skaters and what we're doing as coaches or still as athletes. But then also I'll be calling out what chakra that would connect to. So if we're looking at like the 5th chakra, throat, self-expression, right through here, a lot of times as we're working through these movements, this will feel constricted even though you're not using your voice. So just kind of become aware of that. Sometimes, and if you've done a yoga class, somebody's let one go. You're working your pelvic area. And that works more than just your hip flexors and your abs. You're working your internal organs, but you're also working sexuality and passion. So there's a connection to everything. So just kind of look at that and go, oh, I recognize that. I see that. I feel it. All right. All right. I'm going to see if I can set this camera up so it looks, you can see my mat, but we're going to go ahead and go through a quick yoga flow. We're going to start with true north alignment. This is my dynamic warm-up that I actually run with my athletes currently here in Denver. And it can be done quickly in 5 minutes before they get on the ice. But it's just a check-in moment, especially if they're coming in from whatever everybody's been going through. You know, typically after school, this is a really good one, but in the morning, it'll wake you up. So when we're hitting our true north alignment, this is Tadasana or Samasthiti. So I'm going to ask you to make sure that your feet are about 4 inches apart, hip width apart, firmly planted in the ground and firmly facing 12 o'clock. So take a look down and make sure your toes are facing directly forward. We have a tendency, because our IT bands are tight, to open our feet. So go ahead and plant them down. And we're going to plant all 4 corners of our feet down. So I'm going to ask you to lift up your toes. Inhale through your nose. Place 1 toe down, big toe. 2nd toe, middle toe, ring finger toe, and pinky toe. Now I want you to press down into the ball of your foot where you would place your weight in a spin. Find that pressure. Maybe you're lifting your heels up a little bit, pressing down, sticking them into the mat like a gecko. Now place your heels down on the ground and press on the inside corner of your heel. Now release that weight and press down onto the outside corner of your heel. Now you have all 4 corners of your feet planted firmly into the ground. Take a deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale. Now from the skin to the muscle to the bone, your entire leg, squeeze in, pull in, activate all of the muscles through your legs. Still planting things firmly down into the ground, root down like a tree. Take your hips, tilt them slightly forwards and under, activate your hips. Take your belly area, from your belly button to about 3 inches under, suck it into your spine, pull up, inhale. Exhale, still pulling up. Now take your shoulders, roll them up to your ears, roll them back. Now with a little bit of firmness, press them down. Still tucking your tailbone in, still squeezing in from the skin to the muscles to the bones. Everything's coming inward. Still breathing. Good. Hands are loosely laying down. You still have a relaxation through your hands. This is alignment. This is what we call true north alignment. This is Tadasana, mountain pose. Everything that we do as athletes needs to come back to this pose. If I take it and turn it sideways, you can see my body is in really great alignment. Well, I hope so. This is where we want our athletes to come back to. So if you know this, you can identify how this feels on you. You can translate this to them. All right. Go ahead and find this alignment again. Pull in. Ujjayi breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Make the outward breath audible. So you want to hear that in through the nose, out through the nose. You'll feel a constriction through the back of your throat. This is the dynamic breath that's going to energize and oxygenate your blood. Find one more breath here. Exhale. Come down to child's pose. Find your spot on the floor, on your mat. Bring your big toes together so they slightly touch. We're activating our root chakra right now, the Muladhara chakra, our first chakra. Big toes are together, knees are slightly splayed apart. We reach our fingers to the front of our mat, again, planting them down just like we did our feet. Palms of our hands pressing down into the mat, arm firmly lifted off the mat. Inhale here, in through the nose, out through the nose. This is an active pose, so from the skin to the muscle to the bone. Again, pull in, lift your arms off the mat, knees, feet, legs planted. So you should be here. I see a lot of this sometimes in my classes, so just make sure it's active. On the inhale, go ahead and raise up to tabletop. We're going to activate our third chakra now with a cat-cow. So on my first one, I'm going to drop my belly, lift my tailbone up to the sky. Thinking about my alignment, my back should still be in Tadasana. Inhale, arch up to cat, tucking your chin and binding it to your chest. Inhale, release the belly again, lift the tailbone up high, go up. Exhale, arch the back. Start to warm up the spine. We're getting that viscosity back into the spine. Exhale, go back up. And release to tabletop. Now on this next one, you can bind your toes underneath. You can curl them under or you can keep them here. It's up to you. Again, this is developing a self-awareness of what you need. I like to leave mine down. We're going to go into bird dog. So we're activating our proprioception, which is great when we're jumping. We're going to take our right hand, reach it forward, reach the left foot back, tuck the toes, flex the foot hard, and lift. Now on the inhale, you're going to release, open to the side, balance pose. Pull into the third chakra, into the belly button, pull back, bird dog. Release to the side again. Find your breath. And back in. Bring it back in, down. Inhale, left hand goes up, right foot reaches back, flexes hard, lifts up. Find bird dog on the second side. Inhale, open. Exhale, come back to front. Inhale, open. Exhale, come down to front. Come back through. I recommend doing this 3 to 5 times as you're warming up if you've got the time. So come back down to tabletop. Maybe you need to sway back and forth. Keep finding your breath. We're going to tuck our toes under, push up to downward facing dog. Again, looking for true north alignment. If we're here, if your athletes are here or they're here, they're not in proper alignment and they're teaching themselves bad habits. So I'm gonna come up and look at you guys while you're in down dog. So allow your neck to go completely limp. Raise your tailbone up to the sky as high as you can. Let all of your weight shift down into your hands. Let them bear the weight. If this is hard on your wrists, you can go down to dolphin, which is on your forearms. Good deal. Good, maybe you need to pedal your feet out here. That's totally okay. Good, take an inhale breath here, lifting your right leg up to the sky with a flexed foot, three-legged dog, finding that stretch through the hips. Just stay. Inhale, bend your knee, hinge it open. We're not gonna flip our dogs, but we're just gonna open up these hips. Maybe you're gonna look over your right side. So you're getting a little bit of a spinal twist, further pulling that hip flexor open. Exhale, come down. Inhale, left leg up, flex it hard. So the flex is opposite than what we would normally teach in skating. We want that pointed toe, but for this, it helps us really activate our muscles. Feel the hips starting to open, hinge the knee, open further, deeper hip opener. Twisting over to the left side, looking out, you start to open up your heart, fourth chakra. Inhale here. Good deal. Exhale, come down. We're gonna go right into a chaturanga. So chaturanga, high plank. Hands should be directly underneath your armpits. So take your weight, shift it forwards. This is always the worst part of everybody's day, the first chaturanga. Hands are directly underneath your armpits. You're gonna squeeze your elbows into your rib cage, squeeze in tight, lower down the best you can, come all the way down to the floor. Drop your feet. We're gonna do two sun salutations in one breath. Inhale, lift up, up dog. The only things on the floor are my hands and the tops of my feet. Exhale, roll up, down dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, jump, walk, float to the front of your mat. Halfway lift, hands touch the shins. Forward fold, grab your calves and your ankles, tuck in. Bend the knees, open the arms, raise up to Tadasana. Find your true north alignment again. Good. All the way up. Active fingertips. Really find action and energy through those fingers. Teaching this now is going to help them exert their energy easily on the ice. Hands come to heart prayer center. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, chaturanga. High plank. Shift forward. Squeeze in, lower down. Inhale, up dog, lift up. Look up, find the top of your ceiling. Exhale, roll into down dog. Good deal. Pedal your feet out a little bit here. Press into your shoulders. Bend your knees. Look forward, jump or float. Stay here. Raise up, Uttanasana, thunderbolt chair pose. Good. Sticking your hiney out a little bit more, we can start to activate what we're gonna need for a sit spin. Fantastic. Bring those big toes together to increase the challenge of balance. Good. Bring your hands to heart prayer center. Staying low, sticking the high knees out if we're thinking about ice skaters. Good. Now we're gonna twist, left elbow over right side, stay. Pressing the hands against each other. Go lower. Sticking your hiney out. Get those rears out. Good. Inhale here. Look towards the wall in the direction of your twist. Beautiful. Come back to heart prayer center. Stay as low as you are. Good. Take a breath here. Find your grounding if you need to. Bring those toes together. Really good, Paulina. And twist over to the left side. Great. Yes, nice. Nice, Jan. Good. Sit lower. Good deal. All right, go ahead and release your hands. Grab your elbows. We're gonna do just a dangling forward fold. Reversing the blood flow in your body. One of the best things that you can do and teach your athletes to do, especially first thing in the morning. Good. Find your breath here. Plant your feet down. Again, finding alignment. Go ahead and take your right foot, reach it back. Toes are facing to the long side of the mat. Left toes facing to the front of the mat. Raise up the arms with energy, warrior one. Good. Good. Stay in warrior one. Come into awareness of where your body is. We're activating our sixth chakra now. This goes right up into your head. This is where knowledge is. Open the arms up, warrior two. This is a proprioception challenge for a lot of people. You'll notice, you'll see these off arms. If you have any pair skaters, they need to be really good at this. Good, pressing further into the ankle, soften the front ankle. Left hand goes up, reverse your warrior back. One breath. Inhale, exhale, cartwheel forwards. Left hand goes into the center, instep of your left foot. Look up to the sky, opening up spinal twist. Good, one breath. Inhale. Change hands. Straighten both legs. And reach up with your left hand, twisting to the sky, twisting triangle. Fantastic. Stretch up, activate the fingers. Release, walk forwards, wide angle forward fold. If you are able, put your forearms and your hands down on the mat. If you're able, put your crown chakra, your seventh chakra at the top of your head onto the mat. Grab your ankles. There's really no wrong place to put your hands on this one. It's wherever your flexibility allows. And we're gonna walk over to our right side, really deliberately. Twist your right foot so it faces the short axis of the mat. Left hand down. Reverse triangle right side. Right arm up in the air, twist up to the sky. Bend your right knee, release your right hand, place it down next to the instep of your right foot, and reach up with your left hand, look up. Just reversing this flow. Fantastic. Good. Open up the arms to warrior two, reverse it back to your left side. Good. Inhale, open back up, warrior two. Twist your body. Maybe you can do a self-adjust to twist forward, adjust your feet, warrior one, right side. Fantastic. Good. Hands come to heart prayer center. Take them down on either side of your right foot. Push back into downward facing dog. By this time, you should be limber enough that your heels press down into the mat. Everything is flat. inhale, bend your knees, jump forwards, halfway lift, forward fold. Find your breath here, and you're gonna take a slow roll, vertebrae to vertebrae, back up to Tadasana. Tucking the chin, and lift straight up. Inhale here, and you're done with a quick dynamic warm-up. So if you, does anybody have any questions about that particular flow? So that's specifically designed for athletes to get their entire body working, particularly changing your blood flow. If you've got kids that come in the morning, or you come in the morning, and you've just been woken up maybe 30 minutes before that, your blood hasn't quite figured out what it wants to do with itself yet. So going into any inversion is gonna help wake you up, or just reversing that flow. But focusing on the crown chakra, your 7th chakra, focusing on the 3rd and focusing on the 1st is gonna help to ground you. It's gonna help to open up your hips, and it's gonna help to open up your mind.
So on 1st, 3rd, and the last one?
Pardon?
So it was the 1st chakra, the 3rd chakra, and the last one?
And the 7th one, your crown. So those are really imperative for
would you mind actually like standing and showing us each chakra and where they are in the body?
Yeah. And they all have a color to them too. You can find this anywhere. I'm not good at making worksheets, but I will make something for you guys. So that's the colors. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pride, hello. So it's all interconnected. So first chakra is your Muladhara chakra. So that's down by your tailbone. That's your first. Your second is right underneath your belly button. Your 3rd is right here, just above your belly button. Your 4th is here, it's your heart, and that's green. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, indigo. Okay, so we're on our 4th. 5th is our throat. So when you feel like you don't have the words, focus on that. Focus on movements that activate this. 6th is your Anja. This is your 6th chakra, your 3rd eye. You see a lot of Indian art, Hindu art that has this activated. And then coming out of the top of your head is your crown chakra. If you type in just Google chakra system, you'll see some really great, I'm sure a lot of you probably already have done this before. If you're already here, you'll find some really great diagrams on that. And I'm happy to answer questions about it. I mean, I'm learning every single day. This is 5,000 years old, so there's really no mastery to it. There's just continued learning. But thinking about our athletes and thinking about skaters, and thinking about your own well-being, flows like that are really great. It changes your perception. Like I had mentioned with Warrior 2, if you have a pair skater or a dancer or a synchro team, having them know exactly where their arm is without looking is really, really important. I can't tell you how many times as a young pair skater, I was like, where'd you go? No idea. So just think about ways that you can start to apply this work. So we're gonna go into some spin flows. This is a class I started teaching this year with a tech spec that is at our rink, who's our spin specialist. And we kind of got together and collaborated and said, well, hey, can you do yoga and teach them spins? So the kids were coming up with yoga poses and we were putting it on the ice and boom, difficult variations. So this really has no boundaries. If you remember that everything has to be aligned in Tadasana, if you teach that first, maybe you're working with a ballet teacher, maybe you are the ballet teacher or the yoga teacher, teach that because it will translate, I promise. So we're gonna go back onto our mat. We're gonna find our true north really quickly. and we are going to explore a couple of different yoga poses that will translate onto the ice. So you're going to find your true north. So go back down on your feet, press down onto your foot where you think your spin goes, and then find all four corners. From the skin to the muscle to the bone, squeeze in. Adjust your hips. Pull that belly in, belly button to spine, pull in and up. Shoulders up, roll them back, press them down, relax your fingers. Good. Find your breath, inhale. You're gonna take your right foot, tendu back. You can keep it pointed this time if you want to. Take your arms, lift them over your head so they bind your ears. Find your drishti, which is your focus point, both outward and inward. Tip forward to tabletop, camel spin, warrior three. Find your balance. Good. It's okay if this feels hard or difficult. Sometimes our floor doesn't want to work with us. You're going to find this. Hold for 3 breaths. That represents the correct amount of rotations that you're going to need, revolutions. Slowly lower down to either and you can put your hand down, I just did, to either a sit side broken leg or something that would represent a sit behind, mushroom, whatever you want to call it. Hold for 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Take your left hand, grab your right foot, come up to a standing P position, upright forward. If you can manage this one, I don't know if I can today, lift up, upright bind with the hand. So you can pull this into an upright or you can pull this into a camel forward with a catch foot. This is I want to say simple, but it's a really obvious representation of how yoga can immediately flow into an athlete's training. So we're going to try this on the second side because we have to be ambidextrous. So find your true north. Align yourself. I always start with the tendu back because that helps out my ballet teacher too. He loves me for it. So left toe, tendu back. Piece by piece, arms up, overhead, action in the fingers. Find your drishti, your point of reference, tip forwards, camel spin, warrior three. Find your breath. Sit down, sit behind, or sit side. You can put your hand down if you need to. Keep your face looking forwards, 6 inches to 2 feet in front of your mat. On your breath, inhale, go up. Whew. Good. So you can start to incorporate non-basics there. You can incorporate that P again. It's never ending, and you can get super, super creative with this. The important thing to make sure that you're doing is breathing through each one. Our athletes hate to breathe. They come off the ice and they're like, so teaching them, and this helps with spirals as well. Piece by piece, tendu back, action in the arms forwards. Tip, breathe, change, breathe. Lift, pull. So using those action words as well reminds them they don't need to go like that. Calm them down. This helps calm them down. Yoga helps calm. I mean, so many school systems are teaching yoga right now. It's fantastic. All right, we're gonna do one more of those. Oh man, I mean. All right, let's do, we're gonna go tree to toe. We haven't done that. So balance poses. So, I'm gonna do this on my primary side. It's important to do this on both sides, but for the sake of time, we're gonna do it on your favorite side. So we're gonna pull our leg up into tree. This one. So you've got a connection from your foot to your leg, your quads are pressing, Your foot's pressing, they're pressing in and against each other. So again, skin to muscle to bones, pull in. Good. Find your balance here. That may be heart prayer center, that may be cactus, that may be grow your tree. Okay? We're gonna take this into a forward fold. So upright. Releve up to your toe. Sit it down. Sit forward, pancake. Good. Find your breath here. If you can come to like no hands, that's great. I don't expect that. Heel back down, raise back up to the forward. Find your balance. Grab your foot, either hand. Come up to standing leg raise, opposite hand. So you've got an upright spin, or with a bent knee, you've got a great non-basic with a twist. So simultaneously with teaching them these yoga poses, you're also helping out head coaches, spin coaches, and their overall quality. So I'd love to see you guys flow through that. I'll call it on your second side. So if you did one side, I'd like for you to pick the second side. All right. Kate's got a buddy in the room. All right, so you're gonna go second side, tree. Yep, so you're gonna think about that foot pressing against, creating energy against each other, good. Once you've got that balance, balance down on all four corners, these are really great. Forward fold. Good, hands can touch the ground. Fantastic. Good, find your breath, find enough revolutions here. Bend your knee, releve up to your toe, tree to toe. Good. If you want to go for heart prayer center, you can. Good. When you've gotten your two revs here, go ahead and foot flat, straighten your knee, forward fold, grab your foot, extend out, non-basic or upright. Excellent. Beautiful. Come down, Tadasana, hands down, breath in, out, Samastitihi. Find balance and center again. Good. Excellent.
That was really
good. I know. It's super hard. We did this all quarantine, and it was super fun to watch the kids fall down a lot. But yeah, it's super, super hard. But there are so many variations of balance poses that you can see immediately translate into what we're doing. Watch any of Eteri's girls in Russia. All of those girls, I mean, besides being hyper flexible, they're doing things like just these extended leg raises that turn into I's and Y's, whatever slang you want to use for those uprights. And then they're also doing something called Bird of Paradise, which is, it comes from Warrior 2. So, you know, just explore this and see. I would recommend though, before you go in and actively teach a yoga class, really do your work on that, because it's not under necessarily the scope of what a figure skater is covered for. So you want to check with that if you're teaching outside of your licensure, basically. Just do your homework and just be really careful when you're applying new physical things to your athletes. All right, is everybody a coach? I should have asked that before. Or is anybody a grown-up skater? Kind of. It's Pauline's like, kind of, sort of.
I feel like we have a lot of both.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you know, I always feel like adult skaters, because the way that we learn as grown-ups, analyze and a lot go in and start teaching learn to skate, because they're responsible and they're thinking through things. So, yeah, we're all coaches. All right, so we're gonna go into a couple of heart openers, a quick 5-minute cool down that you can run with your kids or yourself. We'll do some heart openers, which this is green, this is your 4th chakra. And let me read just a little bit about what that, I have this fancy book that from my teacher training. Your 4th chakra, your heart chakra, we hear a lot about that these days. It's kind of a buzzword, but it's your self-identity. It's your self-acceptance, social awareness, your social identity. It doesn't necessarily have to do with like, oh, my heart chakra is so blocked, I can't find love. No, the only love you need is inside of you. So it's not an outward, your outward love for everybody else starts with your inward love for yourself. So that's part of this ripping off the cloak of judgment in movement that I'm so passionate about. So opening that up helps with the laybacks, but it also helps these kids who are coming from just overstim world of TikTok and social media and judgment, and when we're not in quarantine, school, which is just racked full of all sorts of things I would never go back to. So, you know, you don't have to get all like woo-woo on them with yoga stuff. But if you can add this knowledge in the back of your brain, you'll be able to help them so much. And psychologists all over the world, doctors are using it. So, so know that when you're helping with spinal reverse things and thoracic spine opening things, that you're really also helping them on a really deep intellectual level and spiritual level. So you're going to go back into child's pose on your mat. I urge everybody, anytime you are going into any reverse spine movements, always enforce coming back to a forward fold, child's pose. Help them get used to that so we don't have another generation of lower spine injuries. Everything begins in Tadasana. You have to root to rise. Always remember that. You have to root to rise. So you start here, the spine goes upwards. You've already worked it out in that dynamic flow, so the viscosities, you're all lubricated, okay? You have to go up first, then you can roll back. So let's go into child's pose. Let that feel really good for you. Forehead down. Take your left hand, sweep it under your body, spinal twist to the right side. Inhale. Exhale. Change sides. Right hand sweeps underneath your left side, twisting left. Inhale. Exhale. Come back up to tabletop, cat-cow. So just roll with that on your own time. So maybe 2 or 3, rise up, arch your back. Exhale down, open up your heart, lift your chest, open your 4th chakra, your throat. Inhale, arch up one more time. And go ahead and go back to sit on your knees. We're gonna open up to camel. All right, so with this one, your toes can be down or you can lock them. It's up to you. This is, again, a place where you or your athlete checks in and says, what do I need today? What feels best for me? Always encourage them, if they have a jacket or something, they can place it underneath their knees. If they're in their teens, they're already dealing with some knee problems. Hands are gonna go facing downward on your sacrum, your lower spine. Again, find Tadasana, find true north, pull your abs in and up. Lift up through your head, through your crown chakra, shoot everything up to the sky. And start to release your pelvis forward. Release your neck. Roll back, creating a big belly and a nice arch through your back. Let it go. Exhale, come up, release forward. Good. So the second time, I always encourage doing this 2 times. Second time, I want you to reach back if it's in your practice and grab your heels. Okay, so we're going to really create that negative space between our spine and our head, creating a circle. All right, so find that Tadasana in your back again. Body's up really, really tall. Exhale everything from your lungs. Start to shift your hips forward. Big belly, just like you had Christmas dinner. Let your neck drop. Open up your jaw if you need to. And just let your weight fall to find your heels. Good. This might not be in everybody's practice, and that's okay. Good. Let your jaw completely relax. And on your next inhale, come all the way back up and reverse back down to child's pose. Good. Go ahead and lay down forward on your mat, belly's on the mat, feet flat. Good. We're gonna kind of skip locust, and we're gonna go right into bow pose. All right, so we're gonna do two different versions of this. I'll let you pick your feet. The first one we're gonna do is to grab both feet. So you're gonna squeeze in. I don't want more than maybe a kitten width between your legs. So maybe 6 to 7 inches between your legs. So we don't want them spread out. So you're gonna take your hands, grab the outsides of your feet, pinky toe side, forehead down, exhale everything in your body. Exhale, exhale, exhale. On the inhale, you're gonna rise up, up. Creating a wheel shape with your body. Lifting up, lift your chest up. Hips and belly are on the floor, lift up higher. Inhale, sips of air, one more time. Exhale, go down, release. Just let it all go. Good. So for the second version of this, we're just gonna do one for the sake of time. I want you to grab one foot. So it's kind of a little hybrid between bow and locust. It's one foot. So I'm gonna grab my right foot. I'm gonna take my left hand and reach it forward, grabbing the outside of my right, pulling my knees together. Release all the air. Inhale, go up. Everything goes up. Bring your knees together. Pressing down right on your pubic bone. Pelvis and pubic bone is what's touching the ground. Good. Exhale, release, go down, find child's pose. Good. So now you're gonna go, you're already here. I like the next natural movement. That's my favorite thing. So you're gonna take your toes, keep your big toes together, allow your knees to spread out towards the edges of your mat, and you're gonna come forwards into frog. Toes can be up, toes can be down, but we're gonna force those hips open in the safest manner I've found yet. You've got all of the weight of the floor pressing into your inner knee, your inner thigh, increasing turnout, helping with spirals and laybacks, opening up your hips. Now remember, your hips are identified with your second chakra. So we're looking at expression and passion. A lot of people hold tension through their hips. Good, just stay here. Exhale all of your breath. You can lay flat, you can be up like me on my forearms. Both are correct. Good. Go ahead and relax yourself out of this. Maybe your hips need to go side to side. And we're gonna lay on our backs in my favorite, Supta Baddha Konasana. The kids really like this, and I use this in place of Shavasana because, again, looking at the hip tension release, the help that it gives in just their overall flexibility, and they find it most relaxing. So you're gonna lay back, feet together in a butterfly. And just let the arms go. And this is almost always the last thing that I do in class. Sometimes I do it twice. They also like to say Supta Baddha Konasana. It's fun. So you can take, I don't necessarily recommend adjusting your athletes here just because there is so much private area that you can touch, but you can teach them how to do a self-adjustment so they can take their hands and put pressure on their own thighs and open. If you have adults that you work with, it's a little easier. But just lay here and let your weight of your legs fall into the ground. Come back to your breath, come back to your grounding. Let this feel uncomfortable. Good. Do one final check-in, and these can be done so quickly. Do one final check-in with your body, see how you feel. Exhale and go ahead and come up. So you're looking with your hip and heart openers. You're working your second and third chakra again, so yellow and orange. And you're also working your heart, so your fourth. With camel, you're opening up your throat. Anytime you go back, and I know you guys have all seen this with kids doing laybacks, and they're like, ugh, can't get it back. Open up the jaw. If you notice, it'll just release all of these muscles here. This has a really big name that I can never remember, but it gets really tight. So, having an athlete, having yourself come back into that moment of reflection and remembering is really important. We do not allow ourselves time to sit and be still. And being still doesn't necessarily mean I have to clear my mind and meditate, there shouldn't be anything there. That doesn't mean that. That means sitting and being still with whatever thought comes in, greet that thought, and let it go. Move on to the next breath. Coming into mindfulness and being able to train your body with intention will not only help you just as a human being and as a coach, but it will help you help them. And you're instilling so many good things into their world. Because if we look at everything as athlete-centered, so how can we be more athlete-centered, but also increase mindfulness and increase the release of judgment? So that's just kind of, this last hour has been a brief introduction into a lot of what I do. Yoga is only a part of what I do. The majority of it is what we did in the beginning with the free movement, but it all connects. So the work that I do, again, like I said, connects free movement, deep dance theory with Rudolph Laban's work, chakra, the limbic system and the physical responses and the emotional responses that you give. Currently working on a flow chart that shows all of this, but it's a work in progress. Do you guys have questions? You can come off of mute and we can chat. I'm always happy to answer whatever questions anybody's got.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you think, what is the best age for kids to start doing yoga?
From the womb. As soon as possible. As soon as possible. They're most, I mean, I live in Colorado and people are super liberal out here, but when I was living in Nashville, all of my kids, even in the South, were already doing yoga in school. They were already being introduced to this. And honestly, I think that it started because we had all of these, yoga teachers in the late 80s and 90s that were like, wow, this is really helping me. So, they started just teaching it and it became really apparent how much that helped. Even if you just teach them to breathe. I do, with our competitive team, I do breathing exercises at big events. So we're at regionals, we're at sectionals, and I'm in a corner someplace doing yogic breathing with them. So
I'm from Russia and we don't do yoga. Like I see how I'm not a coach right now. I was an ice skating show and I'm a friend of Garrett. But I don't know in Russia coaches that they don't teach yoga kids. We don't do it.
It's definitely a different mindset with the Russian Federation and the training techniques. So, you know, you can look at that and go, how can you bring that?
Maybe Paulina, you can start it.
Yeah, maybe that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Because I think it is important.
Yeah, I mean, reach out. I'll give you, I know Kate does a lot of Pilates and yoga, and I mean, we're happy to give you any direction. And a lot of, because of the pandemic, you know, a lot of yoga teacher training has gone online now. So you can get.
I know 2 months I was practicing yoga every day, every
yeah.
day. And I could feel result. I could feel a result in my body. That's why I start even more think that it's
well, and we need to look at burnout with our athletes as well. How can we keep them involved? I mean, I'm at a really competitive rink, and you know, these kids are getting burnout. So how do we introduce them to other things that they can start to apply to their skating, whether that's free movement or yoga? It's really interesting as you guys move into, you know, increasing what you're teaching. Look at the age groups that are receptive to some of these things. Like when the majority of what I teach is free movement and improv. And I find that between the ages of 14 and 18, I get so much resistance. The kids though that are the most receptive are the younger ones that are under the age of 10, and my 16 to 17-year-old cis male skaters. So my boys that identify as heterosexual, they love it. It's crazy. Like, they love it because it's the first time they've ever been allowed to just be free. So, and I get, in my yoga classes, I get kids that normally don't do the rest of my classes. So they get it.
Ashley, I'd also like to say, I think Alicia or Alicia, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. She had said at the beginning, I think, that she was uncomfortable after the warm-up of just moving freely. So much of this yoga work and breath work gets you more in touch with the isolated parts of your body and makes you feel like the breath can run it. So then hopefully the next time that you do a free warm-up like that, and I'm speaking to all of us, it comes a little bit more organically instead of feeling like we are being judged or watched, and you can just breathe through it. So they're all connected. What you've brought here today is really connected with creating a more safe space in our own bodies for improvisation.
Yeah, and one of the reasons. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to add, I think it's also really great for, you know, students who are still in a traditional school Monday through Friday. And also if you've got like adults, because, you know, both of those groups, they're sitting and sitting and sitting all day long, Monday through Friday. And this is a really great way to really just loosen up the body, especially if they're getting tension from all the sitting, in addition to the tension from all the skating. And adults in particular tend to find it really, really helpful. Just to get rid of the stiffness of the office day that a lot of them have.
Yeah. I was running a program before I moved to Denver, and I was stuck in an office. I was on the ice maybe an hour or two a day, and then the rest of the time I was in my chair, and I started having all of these issues in my hips. And I was actually going through my yoga teacher training at the exact same time and realizing that same thing. I was like, oh, this is life-changing. So yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say, so part of my, I'll show you my flow chart is up on my window. But we go into like the limbic system, right? So I'll kind of just give you a little quick synopsis of what this is. So I work a lot in something called the 5 Rhythms by Gabrielle Roth. I always like to say that I'm not a trained educator with that system, but it's the most inspiring thing that I've come across in my whole life. And it's free movement. It's ecstatic dance. So anybody go to festivals, you'll see that there. But it's deeper than just that. So one of the rhythms is staccato. So staccato is punching, quick movements, marked movements, heavy and bound. So those relate to the 3rd chakra, which is control and assertiveness. And then the 5th chakra, which is your throat and expressiveness. It can also relate to your childhood, adolescence, or midday. So there's all these different ways that you can think of these arcs of how these are interconnected. But it also connects with your limbic system. It is your anger, the loving, the heart, masculine, physical expression of anger, healing emotional wounds, healing communication and digestion. So that one movement form, staccato movement, affects all of that. So there's just this really, really deep connection between movement and your well-being. So I encourage you to just keep exploring that and noticing that in your athletes or in your own self. And the way that we can really facilitate our athletes is to do it ourselves and take notes. How did that make me feel? Did I cry? I think last year in Boston at the festival, I think like 2 people cried in my class because I ran this whole thing for about 45 minutes. And movement brings out emotions. There's a lot of raw healing that happens through movement. So if you're not on top of that, you're not going to be able to get what you need out of your athletes. So
Awesome. I completely agree. And
Thanks, I knew you would.
We like 100% want to push this idea of self-awareness, self-mindfulness, and how that affects your creativity and your own, if you're a choreographer, how that affects what you create. And if you're not a choreographer, just how that affects your well-being. So yeah, and this is a great segue too, guys. Our next class on July 18th is all about breath with Lauren J. Williams. So I hope you'll rejoin us in 3 weeks. Ashley, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me, Kate. You know, I love to be a part of all of this. I found my shirt.
I know, this is her festival t-shirt, everyone. Please join us next year at the festival in Boston.
Our super awesome logo. We did the festival the other day and I couldn't find any of my shirts. I was like,
Well, I love that you cut it. You cut it very nicely there. All right, well, thank you everyone for being here, and we will hopefully see you in 3 weeks. We really appreciate your time. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, and please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to help you as well. So.
Yes, somebody just typed in about the recording. Yes, we'll be putting it up on our YouTube, and we'll send it out to everybody, because I was supposed to have 30 people here and there's only like 12. So presumably there's a lot of people who are interested in this and didn't even come today. So I'll send it out to the whole group that signed up for this stuff.
When is the next year, the festival?
The festival is June 10th through 13th next year. And that's assuming that a vaccine is had and all is back to normal. Let's cross our fingers. But yes, it's the second weekend of June every year.
If not, we'll be doing masks and not shirts. That'll be cute.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, we'll send out, actually, Ashley, if you have that chakras information, like I would happily send that out to everybody too.
Yeah. It'll probably be tomorrow, because I'm really bad at making flyers.
It's okay.
But I wanted to kind of see what I actually talked about before.
No, it's fine. I'll send her stuff out with the recording, guys. Thanks,
awesome.
Guys. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kate. I love you. Bye, everybody. It was nice to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.